Hi, and welcome to my review of Gangs of New York, the 2002 Martin Scorsese movie. Stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis, Cameron Diaz, Brendan Gleeson, John C. Reilly, just to name a few. And the basic setup of this movie is it takes place right during the New York draft riots during the Civil War, which a lot of people don't know about. It's kind of overlooked in a lot of history books. Unfortunately, because this is a great part of history that everybody should know about, and it had consequences. And I'm glad they chose to make a film about this because there's been a lot of films about the Civil War. We didn't need another one about that, but about the New York draft riots and about there are multiple things going on in this film. This is one of the film's strengths, but it is also one of the film's weaknesses. Is that Scorsese tries to tackle a lot in this film. And it's long. It's 167 minutes, so little over 2 hours and 40 minutes. Is that good? It can be. Martin usually makes films where he's pretty liberal in the editing room, but with this film, he really tried to tackle a lot of issues. One of the issues is, okay, immigration. All of the Irish immigrants were coming into the United States because of the famine, and a lot of them were discriminated against. Most were discriminated against. African Americans were also being discriminated against at the time, and so were Asian immigrants. So, and at the head of the person who is like the epitome of this discrimination is Daniel Day-Lewis's character, Bill the Butcher Cutting. He's the best character in this movie. He steals the movie, Daniel Day-Lewis, with this character. You hate him. He's one of these guys who you despise because he is so bigoted. He's very nationalistic, very patriotic. His father died for this country, and that's one of the main justifications Daniel Day-Lewis gives, saying, my father, I'm a Native American. My father died for this country. You guys just came off a boat. So, I think his intentions are right, the character, but he goes about them in terrible ways. He kills people like it doesn't matter. And Leonardo DiCaprio is one of these Irish immigrants whose father was killed when he was just like 10 years old. Played by Liam Neeson. And so Leonardo DiCaprio comes back and he kind of works his way up the system, gaining Daniel Day-Lewis's character's trust because he doesn't really know he's this Irish immigrant, because he disguises himself as like a New Yorker. So basically, Leonardo DiCaprio works his way up and gains Bill's trust. That's just one thing going on. There's also so many other subplots in this movie. I'm not going to get into them because there's just too many. And that's one of the film's problems, is that Scorsese he tries to tackle too much in this film. He really does. And because of that, the narrative lacks focus in a lot of areas, especially the middle of the movie. After, I don't want to spoil that, but basically there's like a big revelation like in the middle of the movie, and then from there on out it becomes a revenge movie. And I don't mind revenge movies. It's just that if you're going to have a revenge movie, you got to focus on the two characters. You got to focus on Leonardo DiCaprio's character, and you got to focus on Bill the Butcher. Martin Scorsese and the script focused on the Butcher, but they didn't focus on Leonardo DiCaprio's character. They really didn't. After the halfway point, little past the halfway point in this movie, he's just lost. They go into all these other issues that involve the draft riots, which is good, but that I don't know if that was the goal. The goal of this movie was to tackle those, and then let that overshadow the main driving force of this movie, which is Leonardo DiCaprio's character seeking revenge against Bill the Butcher. So that's the main problem with this movie. Now, the set design is amazing in this film. Everything looks great. I mean, you could tell they really tried as hard. They got the best people to do the jobs. and they did it well because it looks like you're in 1864 New York. And that the cinematography is really good. Sound editing is really good during the battle sequences. There's a big battle at the end of the movie where it's really awesome. It doesn't stick that close to the actual history. For example, there's ships like in the harbor firing onto civilians at the end of the movie. That didn't happen. That's artistic license. But during the draft riots, there were innocent people who were killed. About 100, or a little over 100, they think. This film makes it seem like it was all like a big battle. Was it? Not as much as the film makes it out to be, but that's okay. That's artistic license. I get that. I just, I think that okay, the acting in this film is very good. You know, again, Daniel Day-Lewis is amazing in this movie. He's given the best dialogue. He's given everything. Leonardo DiCaprio's character, it's restrained. He's restrained in the character, which is good, but at times he needed to he needed more to say and more to do because for me to feel for this character because they're all murderers, but they all can justify their murder somehow. But for me to have like a protagonist that I care about, he has to be able to show me why he's doing what he's doing. He doesn't do that. He has like one scene where he tries to justify everything that he's doing. It doesn't really work that well because it's rushed. The editing is rushed at a lot of points in this film. You can tell it should have been longer. You can tell this was like a 3 hour and 10-minute movie that the studios forced him to cut down to 2 hours and 45 minutes. But so it suffers for that because of that. But still, it's a great film. Um, I definitely recommend it. Just to look at is amazing. They did a great job with it. Um, and Cameron Diaz, she does okay. She's not given a lot to do in this movie, but what she's given, she does pretty well with it. Uh, you know, so overall, I'd say this film is, if I was giving it a star system, I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars. It could have been a lot better. It could have been a 5 out of 5. It could have easily been a masterpiece. Very easily could have been. But again, the narrative lacks focus in a lot of areas. The editing is rushed sometimes, and overall, it just everything everything didn't click with this movie that had to for it to be a masterpiece, which is what he was aiming for with this film, and clearly it could have been. Do I think over time it might be considered better and maybe a masterpiece? Possibly. It's not as good as in terms of ranking it in his other films. I think it's better than The Departed. I didn't really like The Departed all that much. It's kind of overrated. I really like The Aviator. That was good. It's not better than The Aviator though. I think The Aviator is amazing, but I'm in the minority on that. I liked Goodfellas. Shutter Island was okay, but I think it's better than Shutter Island. Is it better than Cape Fear? Yeah, maybe. So, it's not better than Taxi Driver though, or Raging Bull. So it's kind of in the middle, I guess, of his of the Martin Scorsese list of films. Um, but I still recommend it. It's still really good. You just have to have a lot of time to to available to watch it because it's a long movie. And well, thanks for watching, and see you next time.